Just because banks have like a lot of features. I'm sorry, there was like a message in the chat. I didn't see. Yes, Dula, I have a game for them already prepared. Thank you for asking. All right. So today, banking basics, because there's a lot of features that banks offer, or like a lot of like little unique things when you start like working with money that I didn't know about personally. I definitely should have, and it makes it a lot easier, especially when you're trying to figure out how do you want to save money. So first, oh, okay. First, can you guys name a couple of services that you know banks provide off the top of your head? Julie, you want to go? Go for it.
Um, they save your money and
Mhm.
they give you loans and stuff like that.
Mhm. Theodore, you got something that banks offer?
What?
Do you have like a service? Do you know any services that banks provide? Julie said they give loans and they help you save your money or store your money.
I agree with that.
You agree with that? Okay.
Yes, because I don't even have a regular answer.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You have at least one guess different from Julie's? Because there's a lot of answers.
Oh, yeah. But I just am sticking with the one.
Okay, yeah, no problem. All right. So Julie was right. They do help keep your money safe and they do help you with loans and things like that. But we also have, you can deposit or withdraw your money. I think I've talked about that a little bit, but not too much. Depositing is when you put money in your bank account, and withdrawing money is when you take money out. And then they also offer interest for the money that you're saving in an account. So if you have a bank account, a savings account with them, they sometimes give you, it's kind of, think of it as like a little bonus just for using their bank. And then they can also give you debit cards to access your bank account and pay for things with your card. Um, and then they also have digital tools like spending trackers. Most banks have like an app now that you can look at all your bank account activity, and it makes it a lot easier. And then, like Julie said, of course, we have loans, help with loans or investments. All right. And so we have two main types of like financial institutions I wanted to go over because there's a difference. So first we have banks. Banks, top priority is profits, right? They're businesses. You have like Chase. Chase is a popular bank and it's like a big chain of banks. And the same with Bank of America. And with those banks, the difference is usually like anyone can open an account. Like I said, they're larger, so they have a lot of locations, which means it's a lot easier for you to access your money if you're traveling. And then they also have like advanced financial networks. And by that I mean um it's a lot easy to get connected, and also just because they do have a lot of banks and they're larger businesses. The goal of banks, however, is you have larger interest rates though. It's to help the bank make money. And yeah, so they're a for-profit business, which means they're trying to make money off of you using their services. And then we also have credit unions. So credit unions are more member run. The examples are like TDECU, which is very popular in Texas, and then Navy Federal, which is also a popular one. And they're definitely smaller. They're more bound to like a certain community. TDECU is, I, I'm pretty sure you can find a TDECU like almost anywhere in Texas. Well, not almost anywhere, but it's pretty much just like a Texas thing. Navy Federal is more like community based as well. And it's all the decisions or like the services that credit unions offer are mainly to benefit you. They're more member run. The fees that you have to pay, like the little fees here and there, are usually just to help run the banks, run the credit unions, not necessarily make a huge amount of money off of you. Like I said, community focused, but that also means less locations. If you travel a lot and I don't know, maybe you need to deposit a lot of money, a lot of cash, things like that, credit unions aren't going to have as many locations for you to access. But also because they're trying not to profit off of you per se, they have more, like a little bit less expensive interest rates when it comes to saving your money at the bank, which we talked about last week. right? Oh, again. All right, so there are two main different kinds of bank account types that you can open at either a bank or a credit union. And they each have a different purpose and different traits to them. So, for example, you have a checking account. Checking account is the one that's usually tied to your debit card, the one that you pay things with. It's used for daily spending, so when you go shopping, if you decide not to use a credit card, you obviously use a debit card. You can also deposit your money through an ATM or withdraw money through an ATM, or even deposit money online to your checking account. It's usually not really any interest rates. It's more of you have to keep like a minimum amount of money in your account, but not really an interest rate on that. And then limits, there's no spending limits because you're spending your own money, not money that you're borrowing from the bank like you would with credit cards. And then a savings account is destined for just saving larger amounts of money over time. You don't usually have a card for a savings account because you're not supposed to really be spending a lot of money from there. And interest rates, they usually do have interest rates. You usually do have to pay some sort of fee, or you get to make some money off of saving your money in a savings account if you do it for pretty long periods of time. And then limits, there are limits usually, but it's limits to how much you can take out of your account, and it's limited by month. So there are other features that you can use at a bank as well. ATMs, if you have cash, that's where you go to deposit your money. ATMs are like probably the easiest way because they're just machines. They're open almost 24/7, depending on what bank you use. And all you have to do is bring your debit card, insert it or tap it into the machine, and you can choose what you want to do from there. It's a guided process. You also have direct deposits. For example, if you get a check from your employer when you guys start working, hopefully, if you get a check, you're able to use like mobile app or something like that, and you can even just like scan your check, deposit it into your account without having to actually go to the bank. And then of course that ties into online banking. You sometimes have digital cards that you can use. You can also track. That's usually online banking apps are where you're able to track what is being spent on your card, what is being added to your card or deposited to your card, what your spending patterns look like as well. I personally have an account with Bank of America, and with the app, you're allowed to see like how much am I spending more than I'm making. You're allowed to see your patterns of spending. And I've also been able to find out if anyone unauthorized has been using my account by looking at spending trends or spending history. Okay, and the one thing I didn't go over before, I think I touched very lightly on it, but was debit cards. It connects to a checking account and you spend your own money on like a credit card. Because a couple of weeks ago, I did go over credit cards, but I didn't touch too much on the difference between a credit card and a debit card, which is a credit card, again, is money you're borrowing, it's not your own. Meanwhile, debit cards is you using your own money, which is why you don't have a spending limit. Great. And then there are obviously going to be some safety tips to uh, when it comes to online banking, just because there's a lot of weird stuff that happens on the internet. First of all, you want to use a strong password. A lot of online banking apps require you to create your own password. It's not like your card PIN. It's just a password you create for yourself. And the thing with that is that if you use something that you commonly use on other things, for example, if one of your friends knows that your password is Julie123 on every app that you use or on your Skyward or everything. And they know that you have an online banking account and they know your email or username, they might be able to log into your account just based off the fact that they know you use that password all the time. So it's important to create a strong password, something unique, and something that you'll remember. And then only use banking apps that you download yourself. A lot of phones save passwords. So if you borrow someone else's phone, and put in your own information, they might be able to access your own information and even maybe even access your money. So it's very important to work on that. Also, never share your PIN. I don't even think my parents know my PIN. It's just really important because PINs can be misplaced. And it's 4 numbers. It's very easy for someone to remember 4 numbers, even if you just say it once. And then, of course, checking your account regularly. Your account, when you guys eventually get a bank account, you're going to be able to see everything that's done with it. So make sure that you're checking, make sure that no website, no app, or no person is charging you when they're not supposed to be. Okay, so really quickly, we're gonna go over how you usually open a bank account because you guys actually, in a couple years, maybe even like not that far from now, will be able to open your own bank account if you want to save money somewhere safer than just if you have like an allowance or if you start working, you're gonna need a bank account. So, first of all, if you're under 18, if you're a minor, you are going to need a parent to help you open an account. That's pretty obvious. You're going to need an ID of some sort. Usually, I think my ID, they just asked for my driver's permit, or I brought my driver's permit. But originally, I know I have a cousin who just oh, yeah, Julie, what's up?
I actually have a bank account. I if I want to deposit, I have to bring my school ID, and my mom has to come with me, and I deposit whatever little thing I have. Actually,
Where do you deposit at an ATM or do you like walk inside the bank?
I walk inside the bank.
Oh, okay, that's why. Do you have a card with you? Do you have a card tied to your account?
Yeah, but my mom has it right now.
Oh, okay. See, yeah. That's also something about teenage bank accounts. Sometimes your parents will hold on to your card just because they know you can spend any of the money you have. And now definitely if you walk inside, um, that one's a bit different. They definitely do require you to have that. But for a lot of other accounts, if you do the ATM route, I know it's because you don't have your card, but if you do the ATM, usually it just takes the card info and just lets you deposit anything. But that's a good point. If you're walking in, um, you're gonna need a parent with that. And then also, like I think I mentioned it like a little bit earlier, but most bank accounts require you to have some sort of like some sort of money inside the account when you start off, and also money that you're a minimum that you're gonna have to keep in there. For example, my account, I have to have a minimum of $25 if I want to keep the account open. Otherwise, they just send me like a bunch of warnings and then eventually close the account. Okay. And then when you go, there are two like different types of youth accounts at least. So youth savings account, um, usually it's your parents that parents are gonna open both of these types of accounts usually for you. But for a youth savings account, it's usually just something that your parent accesses. Um, at least that's what I've kind of witnessed. Usually people like to use that for kids that don't know how to spend money yet or don't have anywhere to spend money. But then you also have the teen checking accounts. I know both Chase and Bank of America do this. I don't know what other like local banks do that or credit unions do that. But for teen checking accounts, that's usually the one. Oh yeah, Julie, go ahead.
Um, the minor ones, I think it's the one that starts with a T, the one we went over.
Oh, the TDECU.
Yeah, they actually do this. Actually,
They do the
the
minor ones. Is
yeah.
it the checking one? Yes. Oh, they do that. Oh, that's cool. When I tried to do one, I remember my mom just told me like, oh, Bank of America is the only one. So see, we're all learning something. But yeah, also like as banks, like as time goes on, I think most banks try to also do that just because there is some business there when you let people open their own accounts. All right, so yeah, and then teen checking accounts specifically are usually the ones that have like a debit card. You usually have some sort of card attached to it. But the youth savings is more of one where it's just meant to save. It's just kind of, it could just be like Faith's bank account, and it's just where you put all your money. And then, of course, like one of the most important things to this is that you want to choose a bank that gives you the most convenient banking. I chose Bank of America just this is I'm not an ad for Bank of America, but I did choose it just because the app was really easy for me to use. And if I lost my card, I had an online card I could use with different numbers and everything. So everything was in one place for me. And they also sometimes give you advice. If you're spending too much, they let you know.